welcome to the first CTG podcast. I'm Gordie Stewart, your host, and I got my co-hosts here, JB and Jamal.
What's up, y'all?
How y'all doing?
Kind of introduce ourselves. I work here at Lot 22, the host of this podcast, and sponsored by Lot 22. Also, Full Moon, we got the sponsor. Shout out to them. They just hooked up a meal for us. But JB, Jamal, tell them a little about yourselves.
My name's Jamal Johnson. I'm a senior at UAB on the men's basketball team. And we just started this little CTG brand and podcast just to show the world what CTG is about and how everything's going to start and going. So,
how y'all doing? I'm Justin Brown. I'm also a senior grad student at UAB. Just recently transferred from South Florida. Me, Jamal, and Gordie all went to high school together. Started this CTG movement early back then, trying to bring a little resurgence to it. Now that we're all back in Birmingham together, just want to show with that mission about CTG, changing the game, what it really means, more than basketball and more than any sport, just making it to the league, really.
100%. And someone that we know has changed the game in more ways than one. Sitting here today, we got Mo Finley. Mo, I'm going to introduce you real quick. You're the 6th all-time UAB basketball leading scorer, 3rd all-time amongst guards. You're the 5th all-time in steals. You have a decade of professional basketball under your belt in incredible places like Serbia, Greece, Belgium, Italy, Turkey, Spain, and France. You're the founder of One Finley Way Hoops, and you may have hit the biggest shot in UAB basketball history. Did I get all that right? Does that sound right?
That's close. Yeah. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I guess to start, you're an Alabama native. Where in Alabama were you from? Is it Opelika area?
No, man. That's too close to Auburn. I'm from Lafayette, Alabama, which is about 20 minutes from Opelika, man. So,
I got you.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up there?
Typical small town. Everything revolved around sports. Much like the big city, man, it's just no McDonald's.
True. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's a lot we can ask because with you being one of the most prolific scorers in UAB history, like you've hit lots of big shots. I think it's safe to say. You're known for the shot, which you're known for more than that, but especially that. That's the picture that you see in Baumhauer's Wings and Full Moon's got it on the wall. I mean, can you break down that shot? I mean, it's 2004 against the Wildcats.
like a play-by-play. We need a play-by-play.
That's a long time ago, man. You know what?
I know
you know that play.
It plays in a loop in the upstairs bedroom every day in my house, man. So, in all honesty, the shot before that one was much tougher.
To go up by one, the corner three.
The corner three was way tougher than that one.
Yeah, sure.
We called timeout prior to the last shot that I made. I actually missed the box out. Like, I was the reason they even needed another shot because I missed the box out because I was watching.
That's how it is.
Yeah, so I called timeout. Yeah. Coach Anderson, he draws up a play, actually the same play that we got the corner three, but it didn't work the second time. Obviously, it's harder to do. Mm-hmm. Prior to the game, he actually said, hey, man, like, use your shot fake a little more. The first game against Washington was our first tournament game. It's exciting, man. Washington had a really good team. And so you're pressing a little bit. You're trying too hard. You've all been in that situation when you're trying to force it a little bit. You got to let the game come to you. So right before the start of the Kentucky game, I went back to the locker room and I said, he was there. Coach Anderson was there. I guess he gathering his thoughts and getting ready. And he said, pump fake a little bit tonight. So use your pump fake. And I said, all right, cool. Like, I rushed back out. And I don't know if I pump fake before the last shot the whole game, but I guess in my brain, I heard it, guys coming at me.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Yeah, perfect timing, man. Showed it to him. He took it, one dribble. And now, like I said, I'm up at Full Moon at Baumhauer's, man.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Rest is history.
Incredible. That's awesome.
I know you obviously had a great career at UAB, but I'm trying to play professionally one day, and I know JB is too. And I just want to know, like, I know you played a lot of places overseas. How was it playing overseas? Like,
overseas was cool, man. Here's the thing, like, no matter where you are on earth, if you're getting a chance to do what you truly enjoy doing, like, that's a blessing in itself. And so that's the first thing. Having a chance to chase your dream and to do something that you would do for free.
Yeah,
it's a blessing. With regards to the actual basketball part, basketball is basketball. But in Europe, it's a little different, man. Just in terms of professional basketball, like the NBA, you have 80 games. I mean, like, I can't even watch a whole NBA game because tomorrow is gonna be 3 more on them.
Yeah.
Right. In Europe, it's literally like they live and die with the wins and losses.
Wow. I never heard that.
I mean, it's essentially for the players, it's check to check. You play bad this month, you walk past your replacement in the airport, the next week. I mean, so it's sort of there's a seriousness to it that I don't know that always exists here with professional basketball. The beauty of it is just having a chance to experience the different cultures and different countries, and to get a chance to get out and see some of the stuff you've been reading and learning about your whole life. That was better than the actual basketball part for me.
Yeah.
My mom said I'd never had a real job. She was like, "When are you gonna get a job? You gonna get a job?" And I tell
Say
people,
I got the best job in the world.
yeah, it was in essence, it was like a paid vacation.
Yeah.
That's not to say that it's not work, because as you know, I mean, you guys wouldn't be where you are now if you didn't understand the will to work and have a commitment toward becoming a better player.
Yeah.
And so that part, you're gonna practice in Europe, man. Like, it's not a thing where you're gonna be on a stationary bike because you're the vet. You're gonna practice 2 a days.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, pretty intense. But again, like, there's an added pressure to it that I personally enjoyed.
I'm sure. Is there any way to prepare for that? I mean,
Not really. Like, you can't. There's some things you can't simulate.
Yeah.
Professional basketball is. I mean, it's fast. It's just like high school. So, for example, I'm sure you were able to get on the court any way you wanted to in high school with little resistance. Like, the best players you probably played against were at practice.
Yeah.
In college, it's a little different because every player is really good. Every player is essentially you from high school.
From high school.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
they
professionally,
were the best player on their team.
right? It's the
Yeah.
same guys that have all the awards you have. So professionally, once you get to that level, guys are essentially they're trying to provide for their families. They're trying to prevent getting the real jobs.
That gets serious.
Yeah, it
Sure.
gets really serious. And so you have to be willing, not so much the basketball part, but the other parts of it, the other parts of being a professional that I think get overlooked, being where you're supposed to be. Yeah, like making your job or your craft a priority. Like working on your game in the right way, being smart about, what you're doing off the court. Like, all of that stuff factors in, because once someone starts to pay you to represent them, not just on the court, but off the court, like, then the whole thing changes. And so you can't simulate that, man. Like, the only way to become a pro is just to kind of be mindful of that it's more than just the basketball part.
Right.
Because I know it could be a lot of distraction for sure, because I heard like the women love like American men over there.
Well, I think women.
Sure.
Let me ask you this right here. Have you ever seen a professional athlete that women didn't enjoy being around?
Yeah, that's true. That's
I mean,
true.
like
That's
that's
true.
and not just ladies. I mean, people enjoy being around professional athletes because we've all. That's what you grew up seeing on TV. Like, most of us, at least for my generation, the people that you saw on TV, they were either movie stars or
100%.
they were athletes. So you didn't get a chance to really see, Steve Jobs. Nobody watched that when I was a kid. But now, I mean, and there's great value in that. But it's just, the truth of the matter, those things weren't readily available to be, I guess, consumed, so to speak.
That's true, especially now with like Netflix and stuff. It couldn't be any easier.
Yeah, like, you got access to everything now. So, but I think people in general are drawn to athletes because at some point in your life, everybody has been an athlete. Whether you were a good one or a bad one or a so-so one. Like, you've played Little League Baseball, you've been an athlete. And so it's something that everyone can relate to.
For sure. You was what kind of athlete were you?
You said I played Little League Baseball?
I said, what kind of athlete? You said, good, bad.
Some form of fashion.
I would say pretty good. You tell me though.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking you for your opinion. I ain't know for sure.
Go ahead. Don't chuck him in his. Don't elbow him in his chest on the first show. Save it for week 2.
I'm gonna have to handle it after the show.
But
Talking
like I said,
crazy already.
But to speak to your point, man, everybody likes athletes. Everybody wants to be around them. And so there are a lot of distractions. But you have to be mindful of the fact that, hey, part of being a professional is bigger than just you being able to make shots and make plays on the field or on the court or whatever. Like, you got to handle yourself a certain way. You got to conduct yourself a certain way.
Yeah. For sure.
No doubt. Out of all those places that you played, where was your favorite place?
My favorite place was probably Milan. Milan was the favorite.
Yeah.
Milan was it's like New York City, man. It was like, I would come in for practice and then I'd see a guy, one of my teammates, he'd walk in for practice and he has on like a purple trench coat. Like, what you being on a purple trench coat? Like,
The fashion out
like
there.
he's been at Fashion Week.
I know that.
Like,
Yeah.
Giorgio Armani was the owner of our team. And so
Wow.
one of the coolest things he did, one of the years I was there, was he basically told us he wanted us to look a certain way when we entered the arena every night. So he all sent us all to the store and said, you got, X amount of dollars in store credit.
Get some
I want you to go buy stuff. And I'm looking around like, man, like, it's not as easy to spend other people's money as you think, to be honest with you. So, I mean, it's a $100 t-shirt here. I'm like, I got to have that. I need it. And so it's easier when it's not yours. But it was very, very, I thought that was like the coolest thing that happened. It was a different experience. I would equate it to, like I said, living in New York City and playing for the Knicks. So,
I know that's dope.
yeah, that was the cool part, man. Fashion Week. I didn't go to Fashion Week. You know what? I'm wrong. I did go to a show once. I'm wrong.
I know you probably.
I went to one.
You gotta
I
win
know
one.
you wanted to experience
I went to one.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to check it out. And if I'm right, I feel like that's where you played some of your best basketball. You're Italian League Super Cup top scorer, 3-time champion. That's all right when you were in Italy?
Yeah, you know what? I
Something
won
like
a little
that?
bit. You know what, man? Outside of going to the fashion shows, we did play a little basketball. Just an amazing
Every once
experience.
in a while.
Winning too.
Winning too, yeah. Winning,
yeah.
yeah. That makes the people that want to be around you. That makes them happier when you're winning too.
Yep.
So we did a good job of, I think, balancing both, having a good time and experiencing things that there were to experience and keeping that same focus on the end game, which is to win.
Yeah, you sound like you were enjoying your time a lot over there. Did you ever get homesick?
Oh yeah, you get homesick, man. Like, listen, the first year I played in Serbia, and I don't know how much you know about Serbia. Well, the country was called Serbia and Montenegro. Now they've split into two separate
Right.
countries, and so I was in Montenegro. Like Serbia is the fun part. Montenegro, not so much. No, like it was. The nearest McDonald's was 9 hours away by train, and so it was.
By train.
It was a culture shock for me,
9
man,
hours.
because it wasn't what I envisioned at all. Like you see Europe, you're looking at commercials, like tourist commercials that you see on CNN.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking that.
You're not looking at Montenegro.
No, and you get there and then it's not what you thought.
Yeah.
And it's, things that you consider to be pretty standard
Yeah.
don't exist there. For example, you could go in a room or a building to pay your phone bill, and this part of the building is perfect. And then right through those doors, it's bombed out. Like there's no power or electricity or running water in this other side of the building. And that's something that it took a while to get used to. So that first year, I mean, that was tough. That was pretty difficult.
You didn't struggle though. You were the top scorer
Well, the basketball part
in the whole league.
Well, like winning and playing well takes care of a lot of ills.
I'm sure.
So that's like the
Yeah.
court is your as an athlete or as a basketball player, the court
I
is your
believe
happy
it.
place. And so
I believe it.
once I was able to fight off the cold gym, then the
Cold gym is worse.
the cold. Oh, it's
I
awful.
hate playing
Don't
cold.
go. To
I'd
the
rather have a hot gym than a cold gym.
Oh, for
Yeah, at least
sure.
you're getting loose quicker.
Like-
Like cold gym,
Stay
like
tight.
It's like
I'm
you
saying,
can't even
bro.
breathe in the cold gym or
Yeah.
something.
They used to have heaters, like individual space heaters, like set up around the floor, and like it's like, dude, like it's like this isn't helping, man. Like it's hot right here, but the court is
on,
30
hands.
feet away.
Yeah.
But it was, but for me, I think, man, in all honesty, for a guy who has a chance to play in Europe, it was a humbling experience, but it showed me how tough I was to a degree, because lots of people are interested in being a professional basketball player, or you're interested in it. Like whatever it is you're doing, you're interested or you're committed. And so it gives you a chance when things aren't ideal, it gives you an opportunity to figure out, hey, am I committed to this or am I just interested in it? Like you're committed, the cold gyms, you fight through it. You fight through the train ride to McDonald's. You fight through the bombed out buildings and the less than, luxurious accommodations. You fight through all of that. And so for me, I think personally, as a man, it helped me grow, leaps and bounds just because of that experience there.
I'm sure of
let
it.
me run it back real quick. You actually made that train ride to McDonald's.
Yeah, well, we played some of our. See, we played the league. Yeah, I made it. I took pictures in the McDonald's the first time I was there. And I'm not like a fast food junkie, but when you're in Europe,
There's not a lot
You
of
can't find them.
well, in certain places you don't have access.
and the
to
McDonald's
everything.
is different out there. They
Right.
got like random like shrimp and like weird foods. Like
Yeah,
every
shrimp at
McDonald's in
McDonald's?
every country,
Stuff.
it's got like come on, no.
Shrimp from
It's like what?
McDonald's.
I feel like that's good. Shrimp at McDonald's? That'd be
Yeah,
kinda
well,
nice.
I mean, listen, I ate a lot of McDonald's when I had access to it in Europe because, I mean, like your mom ain't over there making sweet potatoes, man. So you gotta just get what you can.
Yeah.
You get whatever reminds you of home. And so that first year, like I remember, whenever I would see I would get M&Ms and Doritos when I could find them. Pringles, like I ate so many Pringles. I'm surprised I didn't slim into a can, bro. Like I was always looking, for something that reminded me of home.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, like that's, I kind of forgot. I made the train ride, but we had games there. And whenever we had games there, I would always ask the team, like, hey, man, can you help me get to McDonald's? Like, help me get to McDonald's. And they would do it. Because they knew it mattered. Plus, they wanted McDonald's too.
sure.
They were 9 hours away from McDonald's just like me. So they
I'm
wanted
sure.
to.
The guys on your team, though, I'm assuming, just got to be from all over the world, right? Did you have other Americans that you played with pretty frequently out there, or was it mostly?
Yeah, that first year I played with a guy named Wayne Wallace. Wayne Wallace played at Virginia Union. He's actually Ben Wallace's nephew. And so he and I were actually the first 2 Americans to ever play on that team. And now that team, I follow them on Instagram. Like it looks like night and day compared to what we experienced. I mean, now it's everything that you would be okay with in Europe. Now I don't know what the pay scale looks like there, but it's still like the accommodations, the arena. They have a new arena. I mean, it's amazing. Like I'm like, man, like this don't even look like the same place.
Yeah.
But he and I were the first Americans. I think that first year, Wayne, myself, there was a gentleman named Kibu Stewart, another guy named Delonte Holland. I don't remember any other Americans in that league.
I'm sure.
And so, you know,
it has to be a completely different game then, which is what I was thinking. Like, I know that the referees handle it differently. They're way more strict. But even playing with people that play just a different style, like, I mean.
Yeah, like every country has their own style. Like in Spain, it's up tempo. In France, it's up tempo. In Greece, it's really, really physical. Like you get to half court, and the guy just basically, I don't know, hit you with a hip thrust. And like that's another. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that one. But yeah, that's funny. So the guy in Serbia, it was more finesse, kind of like when you see. I'm trying to think of a Serbian guy who you guys would probably.
Not Luke.
He's not. Luke is from.
Well, he's from Slovenia. And so I mean, just really like when you think Euro step and finesse, like that's the type of game that was played there.
Like Manu, where is he from?
Well, he's from Argentina. But just similar type of game. And like Manu is, obviously one of the greatest players ever. But I mean, athleticism is a little different for him personally. But like the game was, it was about making the right pass, and every player was really focused on skill. Every player focused on their footwork, their ball handling. So like in essence, for example, if you're a 6'10" guy that grows up in Serbia, like they don't stick you around the basket. Even though you may play the post, they still focus on developing those other aspects of your game. Like what's my man at Denver? Yeah, like Jokic. Like he may be, like those guys are European players. They definitely, and I think Americans now are starting to kind of change their approach a little bit in regards to more guys are handling the basketball and doing more things on the perimeter than they used to for guys with size. And so, like that was the biggest thing. Like Greece, after my first year in Serbia, I had a team that in Greece they called and asked me would I come play the rest of the season with them. I was like, yeah, And so I went to, I'm thinking all of Europe is like Serbia. And so like you thinking like no sports center, like 9 hours away from McDonald's. I mean like just.
Yeah. Had to be a little better.
Oh my God. And so so I played with an American in Greece named Tyrone Grant. Tyrone Grant played at St. John's. Phenomenal guy. He's like, how you'll hear an NBA guy's like, so-and-so's my rook. Like I was Tyrone Grant's rook. Like he basically taught me how to be a professional. Mm-hmm. He taught me how to say no to people when I got home. He schooled me on stuff that I didn't even know I needed schooling on. And I was only with him for about a month. All right. So, but I got to Greece and Tyrone said, well, I'm coming to pick you up. They put me at a hotel, like nice hotel. I'm like, oh man, it's nice in here. The TV plays a little English, which is something that I didn't really get in Serbia. And so Tyrone Grant comes and picks me up and he says, so here's the thing. You don't buy phone cards. You don't buy food. When you want to go somewhere, you call me. And I was like,
he'll show you the ropes.
I'm like, okay. Like, yeah. Awesome. So he takes me to his apartment. I mean, like the place I was living in Serbia, I mean, like it was okay. Like it was okay.
Yeah, Serbia.
So I go to Tyrone's place. It's like a penthouse in New York. I'm like, man, like,
wow.
So Tyrone has what I didn't even know was even available. He has a satellite dish there. And all of a sudden he turns his television on and SportsCenter's on. And so you're talking to a guy who like you see SportsCenter every day, right? Like imagine not seeing SportsCenter for like 6 months, 7 months.
That's kind of, I feel like it'd be weird.
It would be weird.
But then you're like, oh my gosh, the top 10 is back.
Right. And so like I had no idea that was even possible in Europe. And that was because of my time in Greece. Yeah. Now, the game, the play, now I didn't know this at all. So I got in my first game and I'm dribbling across half court. And the point guard, he didn't pressure me, but he met me right at the half court line. And as soon as I get there, he just does this. And he bumps me back over, and I look at the ref, and the ref does it. And whoa. So bad, like, did you just see what, like he just, and so that part, it took me, like that took a while to get used to, man. Like the play is just, it's like, they're going to grab you, they're going to hold you, they're going to push you. Mm-hmm. And,
gotta be physical.
But again, like I said, it made it, for me as a player, like it gave me an opportunity to kind of thicken my skin. Like I said, that experience in Serbia, the experience with the different styles. I grew as a man and as a basketball player because of it.
So going back to college, who you think is the best player you ever played with or played against?
The best player I ever played with? Ooh.
Like in college.
That's tough. The best player I ever played with, like the two hardest working guys I ever played with were probably Sidney Ball and David Walker. Mm-hmm. like Sidney, and I know you guys know him in a different capacity, man, but just in terms of like just being a competitor and just doing whatever needed to be done, like he was that guy. Yeah. Like he was our team captain. Mm-hmm. Like everybody say, oh, you were the captain. Like I wasn't the captain of the team.
Yeah.
Like I was the guy that was taking all the shots and forcing all the shots, and I forced a few, but like he was the guy that was getting the rebound and grabbing me in my chest when I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. Like he was a guy, he was our glue. He was And David Walker was similar. David Walker was a couple of years older than us. So David Walker was at my freshman year. And those two guys, man, like they, in essence, I think David sort of prepared Sidney because he played a similar role. Like he was the glue guy. He did all the dirty work. He was unselfish, just like the ultimate teammate, man.
Yeah.
Like just
That was me for y'all.
Yeah, for
see,
sure.
I told you it's an athlete in everybody. Gordie, you see
Definitely
you the
not.
Sydney baller.
I wish.
No, Gordie was not like that.
I don't think
Don't
so.
listen to that
And,
at all.
and both of them could jump over a
Yeah, but I was
car.
trying to
Like
validate.
Coach Ball, like I know you see him now. You don't think like Coach Ball had bounce and
Yeah,
like the
he
chase
told
down
me.
block stuff. I mean, like that's the stuff that he would do that would help us win ball games. And those are the like you got to have those guys around. In terms of who I would consider the best basketball player I played with at UAB,
Or against. Like,
or against,
Yeah, and just in college in general.
golly, I guess I gotta kind of
Who's
say,
on that
I gotta say Wade, right? I mean, Dwayne Wade
Oh,
was
yeah.
there. I gotta say
For
Wade.
sure.
Yeah.
For
Who
sure.
was on that
Yeah.
Washington team that you were talking about? That was really
Brandon Roy,
Yeah.
Will Conroy. They had like that Washington team.
Brandon Royce.
That's what I was thinking.
People
Yeah.
don't really know that, but like the
Washington-
Washington game was way harder than the Kentucky game. I mean, like it was way harder than Kentucky. Like it wasn't even close. I guess you got to go.
Was that
gotta
the
go
first
Wade.
round? Was that the first
The
round?
first round game.
You gotta go
I think
Wade.
you got to go Wade, man. Because I mean,
Wade's
he was
top 3 shooting guard.
of all time.
Of all
So, yeah,
time.
like it's
In the
easily.
league.
So and
Yeah.
here's the thing: in college, man, like you couldn't get close to him. Like if you're Dwayne Wade and I'm here, it's a fight. Like it's probably a flagrant on me. Like you couldn't get close to him in college.
For real?
They would not let you get close to him. Now, what we did as a team that I'm really proud of, and that nobody probably really knows, like we turned him over. Like he would always turn it over against us, which was,
Well,
good.
you all were known for your defense, right?
Well,
The
even
whole
the
team?
year we were, but even the year that we weren't necessarily a pressure thing. Like we were able to turn him over a little bit. But man, he was phenomenal, man. Like he could get to any space on that floor with ease, and it looked like he looked like everyone else was moving underwater. Like that's how it looked when you were out there on the floor with him. And I never heard him say a word on the court. Like never said
Really?
a word.
Wow.
And then
I
of
think
course,
he's like that in the NBA. He doesn't
Yeah,
really
he
talk
don't really
trash or nothing like that, does he?
well, I mean, he talks obviously more now because I mean that's part of the entertainment is that you gotta
Yeah.
superstar has to be vocal and has to stand on the scorer's table and do all that stuff. But
Oh, yeah, he does.
But in
Okay,
college, he was. I don't ever remember him saying a word. And maybe he talked. Maybe he didn't feel like we were good enough for him to talk crazy to. But maybe he talked at Louisville a little
Must
bit.
have been y'all were in his head a little bit.
I don't know, man. But he was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
No doubt. Back to your relationship with Coach Ball. Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Because that's y'all's assistant coach, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
our
Coach
assistant
Ball
coach.
talks about y'all's like he told y'all like best friends.
yeah.
Like, y'all-
Coach
y'all
Ball is my
roommates in
man.
college, right?
Look, I'm not gonna talk about Coach Ball alone, man, because I don't want my eyeballs to sweat. And so I'll say this: like I talked earlier about being a better player because of a better player, a better man because of my time in Europe, because of that experience. Coach Ball, like I'm a better person because of my relationship with him, and like his way of doing things isn't everyone's way for sure.
Yeah.
But like I couldn't have been paired with a more perfect guy for me. We grew up similarly, similar backgrounds, and so we could relate right off the bat. And so we could relate to each other well right off the bat. He was a hardworking guy. I was a hardworking guy. I was a guy that nobody really wanted, and so I was constantly trying to prove myself. I was constantly I told you about that old LA Gear commercial where Karl Malone says, "Every moment I'm not working, somebody's working." Like I was that guy. Like I took that commercial literally. And so Coach Ball was very similar. And so when we got together, man, it was just a perfect match, man. I love him, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. And whatever he tells you and you to do, you do it with the most enthusiasm you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
Because what he's saying is for your good, man.
Yeah,
promise.
I know he
Yeah.
is. I know for
I know
sure.
it. He's a great guy.
So I guess kind of just to rewind on your story then. So you were at UAB. You played 4 years at UAB.
Played 4 years, yep.
You went to the summer league in Vegas after that. Is that right?
I went to the summer league. Actually, I went to Europe first,
And then-
a couple of years in Europe, and then I went summer league.
Okay, what was that experience like?
It was good. I think summer league, and see, here's what guys don't always realize. Like summer league isn't always about giving you an opportunity. Summer league is about, they're looking for professional guys to come out here and participate and play with guys that they're really interested in keeping. And that's just honest.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'll give you, a couple of some of these stories real quick. So there was a draft pick there. I won't even call his name. There was a draft pick there who got drafted the year before I played summer league. And he was a really good player. He was younger. I think I was maybe 26 when I went to summer league. He was younger. He was a European guy, good player, really good player. And so they put him in the game, and he's playing well and he's doing okay. But by that time, 26, like I'm kind of a veteran a little bit. Like I kind of understand how to play. You know, my skills are actually catching up with my IQ a little bit. It's kind of on the same plane or same, you know. So he puts me in the game. The coach put me in, and I get out there and I pressure the guy, turn him over. You know, we go on a quick forward run. They call timeouts because we just like that's what I'm thinking. Like this is how I'm gonna make my mark. I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna do the little stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go out here and push and guard this guy. I'm not trying to go be the leading scorer. I just want to go out and show what role I can bring to a team that maybe sees me in here. So the other team calls timeout, and the coach says, "Hey man, that's the energy we need. That's exactly what we need." Then he say, "Go get Mo." He tells the draft pick to go get Mo. And I realized right then, it wasn't so much about what I couldn't do, but it was about what they had already planned to do anyway. And here's the thing, like the guys, the guys in the NBA are the greatest players in the world, man. Like those guys are great players. They absolutely are. And I explained to a guy, I said, here's the thing. I said, man, just because you don't get a job, if you're a lawyer, and just because you don't work at, the top firm in the country, it doesn't mean you're not a good lawyer. It just means you don't work at the top firm. Like you can still be a really good lawyer and be somewhere else. And so once I realized that, hey man, like I'm able to hold my own. I know that I can, I'm confident in who I am as a man and who I am in regards to my ability. I understood that, and I was, more at peace about it. And then another instance, he told me, he said, "Hey, I'm going to try to get you back in, but I just don't know if I will be able to." And I said, "Man, like I can respect that. Like I respect your honesty."
Yeah.
I went to a mini camp with the San Antonio Spurs prior to that.
Really?
And there were like, I don't know, I can't even imagine how many guys were there. Tons of guys. I mean, probably, 50, 60 guys. So we're all doing different stuff. And
so what does that look like? Are you guys running drills or
you're running drills, you're doing scrims, you're doing a little bit of both.
Probably one-on-one, 3-on-3.
You're doing tons of that. And so like the first little 3-on-3, there was a guy named Carl English. Carl English played in Spain. And so Carl English, he's a little bigger than me, obviously, because I'm not big. And so we were playing. Greg Popovich is sitting probably maybe 8 feet from us.
That's cool.
And I go up and I end up getting caught with his shoulder, and he hits me right in my mouth and drives like one of my front teeth through my lip. And I was like, Greg Popovich is sitting right there. Like, am I going?
You better act tough.
Am I going to cry or am I just? And so I sucked it up and we finished the drill. And of course, the beauty of the NBA is they have all the resources in the world. So like right across from where their facility is, there's a dentist. Oh, he has an office right here. And so they rush me there and I get it all stitched up and get it fixed up. They had a shooting drill that we did. And one of the guys, the gentleman who was sort of their, like, I don't know what his official title was, but he had a meeting with me like after the whole thing was over. And he said, at the time I had a really good contract in Europe. And so I was there because I wanted an opportunity to hopefully play my way from Europe to here to see if I could be, the backup or the third guy. If you keep three, I understand how it works. And so the guy, he said, "Man, I'm going to be honest, man." He said, we didn't know you were as good as you are. And he said, "We got you rated as our third best guy, our third best point guard here." And not even thinking, I said, "What's the difference between me and the other two guys?" And he said, "The other two guys were taller. And we have Jacques Vaughn and Tony Parker already on our roster."
Tony Parker.
And so like and to me, like that made sense. Like I could respect that. Like you don't go and pull, the problems defensively that Jacques Vaughn is gonna have, I'm gonna have too, because like he's not, 6'5". We're both gonna be liabilities in a sense, defensively with regards to him. I mean, obviously he's one of the greatest on-ball defenders in the history of the game, but you get the idea. So once he said that, I could respect that. Yeah. And he asked me, he said, "Man, like listen, like we're gonna ask this guy to come to play with us this summer, but if there's any way that you'd be interested," I said, "Well, here's the thing. I've already given my word to Portland. And so like I won't, I'm not gonna go back on my word. I told him I would be there, and so I'll be there." But the summer league stuff is different, man. Like I say, it's a lot of opportunity for sure. For guys, they're the best players in the world. It's a lot of opportunity, but you kind of have to go in and know that, hey, like this is an opportunity for me to show what I'm capable of, but also give you a chance to test your skill and test and see where you are and see where you measure up. And if you measure up, you're confident and you're fine, and you can go on and you can continue to grow as a player and as a man. And if you're not, it gives you, a reason, an opportunity for you to work on your stuff and get better at what you need to get better on. But for overall, it was an awesome experience, man.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I feel like that whole story kind of ties into a little bit about, what we're trying to do here with CTG and everything. Like, not necessarily like looking for, a certain opportunity and banking on that opportunity and just hoping that that's the one that works out. It's really like finding kind of where you fit in and like what your strengths, work towards and like match up with. And for you, it was many years of success overseas, and now you have a very successful training business that you started with one Finley way and everything. So I like how that ties into what we're trying to get going here as well.
And the thing is, man, like just like we all have tons of gifts, right? Like God gives everyone different gifts. And the beauty of you is that there's no one like you. Like there's no one who can, like, I can come and find 10 cameras and 3 guys who know how to hook them up and try to do CTG. And it's not going to be the same because I'm not CTG. Like I'm not y'all. And so
you are now because you were on the
podcast. I'm CTG now.
You can be changing Instagram.
Yeah, I'll change it to my Instagram.
CTG mode. I love it.
So, but for you guys, like it's a matter of figuring out like where you fit. Just like you said, like, a career in Europe, and there's room. The thing is, there's room for you. Your gifts will make room for you.
Yeah.
And so, as athletes and young professionals, like you always got to remember that, like the power is that nobody is like you, and you have to settle that in your mind and in your spirit, and you just got to know that, and then you can keep push forward. Like if you know that and you settle that, you can push forward, and you can do something really cool with the gifts you got inside of you.
No doubt. Well, speaking about One Finley Way, tell us a little bit about that, how that got started and everything.
You want to know how that, so that got started. It's so crazy, man. So years ago, like I came home and I created an LLC. My wife and I created an LLC, called it One Finley Way. But we didn't know what we were going to do. Well, we were going to do real estate stuff with it first. And then we got kind of sidetracked, and then I got hurt. And so I just kind of put it out of the back of my mind. So
I didn't know you started with real estate. That's
cool. Like that's what we were going to do. But then awesome. Once I went to Spain, I came back with a baby. And then I went to France. And that's when I tried to apply to be your coach, and they said no.
Oh my gosh!
They told me no.
I didn't want to talk about that.
I'm sorry. You got that.
That would have been awesome.
So I got home. I told myself, I said, like, listen, man. Like once my son got here, I knew basketball was probably over. I wanted my son to know his family, and I couldn't be in Europe 8 months, 10 months out of the year with my kid being here because at the time he couldn't travel. He was young, hadn't got all of his immunizations and stuff, so I couldn't do it. Yeah. And Coach Ball, a gentleman. Email Coach Ball. He was at Sanford at the time, and he had 2 kids that he said, "Can you train them?" Like a college coach can't come train your kids, but the guy, he didn't know that. And so every day, man, I swear, my wife had something for me to do every day. Like every day it was Home Depot. It was the card lot. It was like always
like,
something.
I got to get out of the house.
Right. Like we need to fix this. We need to. I'm like, I got to find something to do because I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah.
Get me back in the gym.
And so when Sydney called, he said, "Hey man, like I can't do this. Are you interested in doing it?"
Yeah.
And for years, people would ask me to work out with their kids. Like they would all, and I think, in all honesty, I think maybe I can't remember if I was still playing when I worked you and Garrison out one time.
Yeah.
I may have still been playing. Like outside of Garrison and maybe one of 2 of his friends, I never did any skill stuff with anyone because I was always so focused on preparing myself to go play. And I said, like I'll do it. Like I'd never done a basketball camp. I would always come and work a camp, but I never had my own. I just didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
So once Sydney found a guy, he's like, "Man, hey, look, here's his number. Just give him a call, see what he's." And so the guy, he had 2 boys. They were, I guess, 5th graders and 5th and 7th graders, and that was 5th and 7th grade, something like that. 2 kids turned into 20, 20 kids turned into 40, and then I just kind of stopped counting, man. And so I realized, like, part of what made me a capable basketball player was my willingness to commit to doing the skill work. Alex, I'm not big. Like I'm handsome, but I'm not big and strong, man. So I gotta be skilled, right, to survive.
Yeah.
And so I was able. I think I do it in a way that's probably different than a lot of people that do it. Like I try to teach kids how to play.
Yeah.
And try to wrap up life lessons within that. Kind of. Your mom gives you medicine with something that you like, so you take it. So I try to teach them life lessons wrapped up in the basketball. And every now and again, you'll get a kid like Harrison who's just, obviously loves it and is really good at it, and he's able to absorb everything I'm putting down. I have to kind of work on myself to prepare to work with him because he's always
he's intense.
He wants more and more and more. And so it's been really good for me, man. I've had a chance to impact a ton of kids through something
that you love.
That I love, man. And again, like I said, that's what it's all about.
Of course. So you train mostly kids like in middle school, high school. You ever train professionals as well?
I do. I train a few professionals. Yeah. So
but
guys,
I feel like what your niche is definitely like what's it called? Teaching the younger generation how to really love the game and get better at it. So
college guys, I work, obviously Garrison, my nephews, Garrison and Justin. So those guys work out with me. They've always have. The professional guys are a little different because in all honesty, like you've done tons of drills. Like guys like yourself, you've done all the drills in the world. Like it's more so about having someone there in your ear who has, or at least I think it's important to have someone who kind of knows the road that you're gonna have to kind of travel.
Telling you what you need to do.
Yeah, like this, and helping you become professional or maintain that professionalism. One of the guys that I had a chance to work with a few years ago, and he's been back and forth, a guy named Emmanuel Terry. I don't know if you guys know Emmanuel.
Oh, yeah.
So Emmanuel's super duper nice guy, like one of the hardest working guys in the world. And so a lot of the stuff that we were doing, obviously he's, a great player, great athlete. It's so cool to see him get his chance to play at home, play here in the league and stuff now. So I mean, I'm rooting for him like crazy. But we would talk a lot. Like a lot of times, the downtime during stretching, like I feel like that was the most impactful moments of any of our sessions because the physical stuff is, it's just physical. But like learning how to be a pro, learning what to do, what not to do, like that is a process. And so for the guys like you, yourselves, and Garrison, like those are the things I kind of focus on with you.
So I have a question that's kind of I want interesting to know about you. So so NBA, I'm going to NBA. Like, who would your top, like if you had to pick a starting five for NBA of all time?
All time.
Who would you be in your starting five? Like from point guard to center, like every position.
I have to list them by position.
Like, by position,
position.
Start with the
I want to know.
I start. You know what?
You gotta have Steph Curry.
You gotta. You know what, man? I don't think so.
I don't think
Oh
so.
my.
No. And here's the thing. It's
You don't have to.
Think about my lawyer analogy. He's a great lawyer, but the firm can still be productive without him. I think he's really good.
Gotta have Steph.
But I got here's where I
Bro,
go.
you love Steph Curry.
Here's where I go.
Best player ever.
I probably go with Magic, man.
Magic.
I probably go with Magic at the one.
Great choice.
Just
Great
because
choice.
he's such a matchup problem, man. Like somebody that big that does that and who doesn't necessarily want to score. Like Magic doesn't need shots. I mean, like I go with Magic at the one. At the two, there's really no. It's Mike, man. Mike is like Mike is Mike. I don't have to. Mike is Mike. True. So Mike is at the two. If I go three, I gotta. You know what? I think I go LeBron, man.
Okay.
I'm finna say you got.
I go LeBron James. And I know a lot of guys.
it doesn't have to be LeBron.
It doesn't have to be LeBron for sure, but I go LeBron because, like with Mike, like you got to have some guys that are willing to play together. And so LeBron is essentially Magic with better hops and maybe
shoot a little bit
more
better.
athleticism and a better shooter. So in my eyes, so I think a guy that's unselfish. Mike's gonna do all the killing. He's gonna do all the stabbing. He's the guy that's gonna close it out. You go Mike. I think at the four.
Four's kind of tough.
I go Tim Duncan at the four.
That's
I like that.
I go Tim Duncan at the four. And at the five, I go Bill Russell, man, and I'll tell you why.
Come on, bro.
Here's why.
You got to give me a good reason.
I'm gonna give you an awesome reason. Because what you think, you guys see Bill Russell, you say, oh, it's an old guy. He's not as athletic as these guys. He's not. That's true. But here's the thing. Like, a guy like Bill Russell, I guarantee he was never the most athletic guy. But that guy he knows he's not the most athletic. And he's not dependent on any of that in order to have his success. Like the problem that everybody else has a problem with him not being as big as Wilt Chamberlain or him not being as big as Shaq. He doesn't have that. He knows how to navigate and play within what he has. He knows how to use his gift. And so I choose Bill Russell because he's the greatest winner of all time. And there's the mentality that comes with winning that you can't simulate that. Like a guy like Dwight Howard don't know what Bill Russell knows about winning. Yeah. And he's a better athlete, probably more powerful, maybe even a better basketball player.
No.
Maybe. Just from a skill standpoint. I'm saying from a skill standpoint, maybe.
True.
But
I choose Bill Russell.
My starting
Let's see
five
your five.
would destroy your starting five.
Who's your starting five?
Yeah, who did you want at the five instead of
At the one, I'll have Curry for sure.
You got Curry at the one.
For sure, Curry.
All right. You go MJ at the two? Or?
No, come on, bro. I'm not going him. I'm going with Kobe.
Yeah, that's true.
Kobe at the two.
I was
Kobe
thinking
at
that
two.
too.
That's
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's
might
a good pick.
go Bron. Actually, let me see. You pick Bron, so I'll get somebody else.
You go KD?
I'm gonna go KD.
I love it.
You're gonna need a lot of balls. How many balls y'all playing with?
Giannis. Giannis at the four.
Giannis.
Ooh.
Giannis at the four.
That's solid.
He's another guy that's like straight up
Kareem?
matchup problem.
What about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the five?
I feel like my starting five would be both of y'all starting five.
Who you got?
I got Allen Iverson at the one.
Come on, bro.
Yes. Come on, bro. He's killing. He's a killer. Allen at the 1. Damn, but I wanted MJ at the 2 as well.
Go get Wade. Y'all said Wade was like the third best. Go get Wade.
Or Harden.
No, I'm not going James. I'm not going
Clay.
Yeah, I might have to go Klay Thompson at the 2.
I like that.
Best spot up shooter of all time, easily. Best catch and shoot.
Ray Allen.
I like Klay Thompson. Like
That's tough.
Klay Thompson, bro.
That's a tough argument.
I mean,
Playoff
as far as
Klay
spot up
Thompson.
shooting.
So I'm saying then at the 3, shoot, that's a difficult one because I would have chosen KD or LeBron, but I really also like Kawhi.
Yeah, Melo too.
Yeah.
Nah,
Prime Melo.
He's not defending.
Prime Melo.
Prime Melo
some-
can't even come to my game.
I need some lock.
You don't like Prime Melo?
Prime Melo, yeah, I mean, but
He's a savage.
well, I'll let you finish, and
I understand why you say Prime. I would say no Prime Melo because of his defensive ability. I feel like you're not going to lock up on defense like Kawhi would. Kawhi would lock up for sure. At the 4, might have to go Hakeem at the 4, and then Shaq at the 5.
yeah, that's tough.
It's a solid team.
But like
I like it.
when I think about a basketball team, like I don't always think the best player at that spot. I think about
they
the
fit together.
5 that'll work
That'll
together.
work.
And so like,
I think you have a very cohesive team.
yeah, like I don't think I guess so. Like the guys I mentioned,
Can play together.
right? I don't like how many balls y'all got. Like you all like Allen Iverson's gonna want to shoot.
That's him.
Yeah, that's true.
Iverson's gonna want to take shots. Klay Thompson's gonna need to take shots because I don't care how great of a shooter you are. You're not gonna be to go 10, 12 minutes without taking one and feel confident in shooting it in.
I agree with that.
You got Kobe and Steph Curry. Steph Curry takes a lot of dribbles. I think he's the greatest off the dribble shooter in the history of the game.
Probably player.
Or off the dribble,
Best all around.
or player. Or
He's talking about player. Ever.
player.
Best player ever.
One of them. He might be the best.
Bro.
I don't know about
But he
that.
changed the
I
whole
get-
game.
CTG.
CTG, bro. He's part of CTG, bro.
Bro.
See,
He's
you
about to
check.
really
Hey,
change the
Come on,
game.
bro.
you ought to tag him. See, can you get me switches?
I'm
Instagram
going
handle.
to. I'm going to after this
I like
podcast.
Steph Curry. I
lot
think
of
he's
people
Shout out
change
Steph
the
Curry.
game.
Change the game. Change your name to CTG. Start Steph.
I just think playing together is a component that always doesn't necessarily shine through a lot of times. Like obviously, I mean, the guy, everybody we mentioned. You didn't mention yours, man. Who you got? You got her? Did we already cover?
I was thinking
all?
about mine. Y'all took a lot of them, but I can use some of the same ones. I feel like point guard. I mean, I want to put Harden somewhere in there. I feel like on this Nets team, he's not getting to do everything that he does. But like we saw on the Rockets, like we know exactly what he's capable of. You give him space. I mean, he's gonna go crazy. At the 2, I kind of want Kobe or MJ. Can't go wrong.
See, okay, if I could use some of the same people, I would switch out some of my players.
I can't use the same people. I mean, okay, then give me Ray Allen at the 2. I love Ray. Give me Ray Allen at the 2. Save LeBron's career, by the way, with the corner.
Chill.
Yeah.
Save the career.
Chill.
Save the finals record.
Career.
Not maybe the career, but the playoff.
The finals record, like at that time too.
Yeah.
If they would have lost that, it would have been a lot of slander because that was the
100%.
time when he was talking about not 1, not 2, not 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be
100%.
something to come back from.
And you can say LeBron, but give me Dr. J at the 3.
That's my pop's favorite player.
Give me Dr. J at the 3. He plays like him.
Yeah, kind of. Low key.
He does. The 4, if I gotta go someone new, I'm gonna go Dirk.
Oh, I like Dirk.
I like Dirk.
He changed the game a little bit.
I like Dirk.
And I want to go Shaq at the 5, but I guess I can't.
You got some other good options.
No one went Kareem, right? Do you
I got
He went Kareem.
You got Wilt. You got.
Did you say Olajuwon?
I said Shaq.
You got Dwight
Yeah,
Howard.
He got a lot
Yeah,
of
give me
before.
Will at the 5.
Yeah, I got
Give me
Olajuwon
Will.
before.
You got
Will
Joel
at the 5.
Embiid.
Ooh.
No.
Ooh, no.
That's his favorite player.
That's your favorite player?
Joel Embiid. No, he's not my favorite player. I'm just a 76ers fan. So
I mean, he's a good player.
that's why I chose Allen Iverson at the 1, honestly.
I got you.
Now, he
good.
changed the game. Allen. AI. Go ahead and
True.
change the name for real.
True. Well, we gotta wrap it up. We're about here at 45 minutes. I feel
Yeah.
like it's about
So-
it. But last thing, Mo, what's your next chapter? Like, where do you go from here? What's something you want to accomplish next?
You know what, man? I want to keep doing everything within my power and within, I guess, my reach to just continue to help young athletes and young players be the best version of themselves on and off the court, man. And however, whatever that looks like, that's what I'm for.
That's awesome.
Hey, so if you had some advice to give to the younger generation, like, so our big brand is about changing the game, not like trying to make it in, just sports or music or whatever. I feel like there's so much other opportunities out there for the younger people just to like expand and, be successful in different other areas.
Right.
So what would you, if you had some advice to give to the younger generation, what would you give?
My advice would be to dream as far as your eye can see. Like, man, in spite of everything that goes on in our world right now, like, it's a wonderful time to be alive. Like, there's never been such a time as this, man. You have access to more than you could ever imagine. And I think sometimes that, I mentioned it when I was a kid, when I was growing up, you didn't really have access to a lot. You didn't see a lot. And so now, through social media, through, the internet, obviously, you can have, you can get information is readily available. And so I think for young people, you just got to dream it and be willing to commit to the work of it and be willing to chase it. And again, like I said, remember that the power is within you.
I love that.
I love it. Love it.
That's a wrap. Mo, thank you for
I
coming.
appreciate
y'all,
you.
man. I enjoyed it.
Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you very much.
Yeah, man.
Very much.
Thank you, man.
That's it. That's our first CTG podcast. Stay tuned. We got more guests coming.
Thank y'all. Yes, sir.
Shout out once again to Full Moon for hooking up this meal that we're about to tear into, and Lot 22 Media for hosting the show for us. But that's a wrap. Catch y'all next time. Good stuff.